This is the second year now, the second year that the Sundance Film Festival has gone completely virtual. We're in virtual land, right? Like, and I think that really deprives a lot from the filmmakers. The experience of seeing your movie with a live audience and the energy from that, it really helps you see if you were successful in what you were trying to achieve creatively. And then also, in the cases of a lot of filmmakers, I know a lot of films change after having screened at Sundance or film festivals. They change a little bit, right? So it's an opportunity. But Sundance has always taken place during flu season, which will also in future be also known as COVID season, right? Flu season is COVID season. Look, people are going to get sick during the winter. This is normal. It's normal to get sick during the winter months. So should Sundance move the festival to spring, summer to avoid flu season?
Well, I mean, there's a communal aspect to any film festival, as we all know, we've all attended them. So that there is this, community that's being built, and continues, and you see old friends and familiar faces, but now I think that it carries with it, like when someone sneezes in the theater, that all of a sudden everyone kind of ducks for cover. That it's it's a little bit weightier of an issue now. So, it might not be a bad thing. I mean, it might be a bad thing for Sundance, which is known for its snow-topped mountains, but Park City is beautiful in the summer too. So there's nothing wrong with highlighting it in that time.
Rob, I completely agree with you. I've actually been to Park City, Utah in the summer. It's stunning.
It's beautiful.
It's like everywhere you look, it's a postcard. It's like, it's so incredible, and hiking, and there's all sorts of outdoor activities. I mean, originally the Sundance Film Festival was set in January to try to get studio executives from the major studios to come to Park City because they could go skiing, and then they might go see a movie or two at the festival. Right. Seriously, that's why they said it in January. It's like, oh shoot, we'll make it it's a vacation festival, and we're going to screen these movies in like libraries and high school auditoriums, and we'll get like, hopefully, fingers crossed, the studio executives will go see some independent films, and maybe they'll buy one, right? What are your thoughts, Norm, on moving Sundance? Should Sundance move to spring and summer, avoid flu season, and then we're not going to be canceling Sundance? This is the second year in a row it's been canceled.
I think I don't care when it happens as long as it happens. And if that means avoiding flu season, okay. I mean, like, I don't understand that there's really no downside to moving it, because as far as I'm concerned, because like you said, Park City is just as beautiful in the summer as it is in the winter, and it might give execs more lead time to pick something up and get it ready for I don't know, the coming year. I don't know.
Well, it changes the calendar, right? Because the thing is that Sundance and Slamdance, I would argue, kick off the festival season, right? It kicks it off. It's like Sundance kind of sets the tone for the rest of the year. So festival programmers and go to Sundance, and then they go there looking for movies to put into their festivals, whether it's South by Southwest, Tribeca, etc., like smaller festivals. Smaller regional festivals, look for movies like, oh, we want to have this play in our festival in June. So it sort of sets the tone. It's like a backdoor market, not just for distributors, but also for festival programmers. Alan, you've been braving Sundance for the last several years, and you were there in I think you have a pretty funny story.
Before the pandemic broke.
It's funny. Were you getting looks from people?
Yeah. I swear. I was at the Eccles, and just kind of getting to my seat, and I heard a guy on his cell phone talking about this thing called the coronavirus. And he was very loud about it. And then when he saw me, he got really quiet. And, I'm surmise what you will. No judgment here, but that just struck me. It's like, wow, okay. But I think the placement of Sundance in January has a little bit to do with the fact that it's award season. Celebrities are already on the West Coast. Maybe that this is a draw. also taking advantage of the skiing. But the thing about attending Sundance compared to every other festival I go to is all this prep I have to do to prepare for the snow and the cold. And the first few days, it's just fighting not getting sick and taking copious amounts of drugs and antihistamines to stay with it. And that was definitely my experience going to Sundance.
It's definitely an endurance race. That's for
It
sure.
is.
Well, you have to do emergency. I always take a lot of vitamins, zinc, vitamin D you almost don't need, because what they don't tell you is when you're out, the sun is so blazing, no matter how cold it is, you're warm during the day. Yeah, you actually do need sunscreen, but which actually is I love it. There's something about, I feel like I get a high from the mountain air, because the air I'm in Pasadena, and the air on the West Coast is not so great. It's dirty. It doesn't rain very often. You go into Park City and it's like, I feel it's invigorating. There's something about it that maybe that, I don't know, contributes to also the movie.
My first experience at Sundance, the first thing I did was I went to I forget, it's the high school. You stand in line for an hour. You're
there right now, in fact.
Yeah, and then when I got in, I realized I'm not seeing a movie. I'm seeing a 4-part documentary. So I'm sitting there for 4 hours, and it was the most miserable experience I had. That was my first experience at Sundance. I finally figured it out though, but damn, 4 hours.
Wing It Production says Echinacea 2, very good advice. Yes. And I second this one.
Scotch.
Oh, and Scotch. I mean, it is like an endurance test, because it's you're going from like screening, party, party, and then there's no time. It's not that there's no time to eat. You either got to get something on the fly, or you're eating whatever they have at the parties. At the parties, I always say just go for protein. Don't go for just the chicken skewers. Bunch of chicken skewers. You got your protein. You can continue drinking. But I do think there's something to this. I feel really disappointed and sad for the filmmakers who have been deprived of this experience of seeing their movie in front of a Sundance audience. The Sundance audiences are trained. They love anything that's different, unusual, takes a risk, is also an emerging or new filmmakers. I love that. I love that there's a palpable energy. I remember I told you, Norm, before you went your first Sundance, I said to you, Sundance, it's going to change your life. And what happened?
It did.
Yeah,
it did. It did. Incidentally, circling back, not to derail, but the Scotch, my deal is no drinking while reviewing, and I will no, and elderberry syrup. That stuff is bomb for immunity. However, I did spend one day with a bottle of Jack Daniels and knocked out 4 reviews. But then I sobered up, and I got,
that's what microdosing is for.
Yeah, exactly. You get it. So sorry.
Well, look, I think it would change the calendar, but we've had the Critics' Choice Awards. Alan and I are members of the CCA. We vote in the Critics' Choice Awards. The Critics' Choice Awards does kind of set the tone and is very predictive of the Oscar nominations. If you look at the Oscar nominations the last several years, along with the Critics' Choice Awards nominations, they very much line up, even predicting the winners in many cases. So, and all these things kind of progress. It was like the CCA, Critics' Choice Awards, the Golden Globes, Sundance, all kind of took place in 1 month, kind of setting the tone. And then, 60 days later or so, the Oscars. This would disrupt the entire calendar, but, at a time where everything's been disrupted, right? Yeah. Like the world has been disrupted. Maybe we need to disrupt in a positive way, where look, in the spring and summer, the flu season subsides, flu/COVID season. It's never going away, folks. We're just going to have to live with it. That season subsides. Maybe Sundance should move it. I want to know what you think in the chat. Whether you're watching this live now or whether you're watching this later, please, what are your thoughts? Tell us. What do you think? Should Sundance move to spring, summer to avoid flu season? I think that I suggested this on Twitter, and Dan Mervish from Slamdance is like, yeah, it makes total sense. And Slamdance, actually, you know, they've been doing events in other cities. They did an event in Joshua Tree. They did an event so they do these screening series, sort of mini festivals. And I think they've been very smart about that. But I'd really like to know what everyone else thinks. Post, please, in the chat on this topic. I want to know. I really think there's only upsides, but it is disruptive to people's norms. But, you know, what's the norm these days? We live in clown world, right? I mean, whatever.
You know, I think I think the issue. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say the issue to me is, you know, I think there should be a film festival in January. Maybe we don't have it in Park City. Maybe we have it in a better location that isn't going to get people sick. That's somewhat safer. LA, San Diego. I don't know, but
they're never going to leave Park City.
How about Vegas?
All of these festivals that have been kind of hit hard by this, the smaller festivals, not the Sundance, but wouldn't it be a great opportunity to collaborate with some of these smaller ones and say, hey, let's do a traveling Sundance where it goes to some of these smaller festivals, showing the films, building up that anticipation, giving that kind of exclusivity of going to these little towns across America and kind of, you know, building up that anticipation from a very grassroots perspective. I mean, it might be a way, and that could help these little guys out too.
Yeah. So let's see. Forgotten says I've never been, but I think moving it to March wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, just moving it in general. Phil G says April. Why not? I mean,
when is South by? South by is May, or
someone says why not both? Review sober, then review drunk. I think that's. Or, you know, you can do, I mean, I don't know, but I do actually like the someone says leave it, Terrius says leave it where it is, tradition, damn it. You know, I agree with you, but the problem is that I think that we're always going to see these new variants, right? There's a lot of new ones. They're all pre-named, right? So I don't know. I'm all for tradition, but also living in reality. I used to get flu every time. I would get sick. You go to Sundance and it's like 10 days and you're just exhausted. You come back and it would take me 2 weeks to recover. I mean, seriously, I'm not like we're finally, I mean, I get the flu shot every year because I just didn't want to get sick going to Sundance. And I almost think it's a good idea, you know, regardless of like when all these mandate mask stuff, I may still, at least when it comes to Sundance, wear a mask on a plane just because I feel like that's where I would always get sick. I'm
never giving up the masks ever.
Well, I think it's like, it's one, I think it's personal choice.
Yeah.
You know, I'm actually comfortable not wearing a mask, but the thing is it's personal choice, you know, I mean, and also I think Wing It Production says confined spaces spreads flu, tradition is normal. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, but what I'm saying is going on a plane and coming back from Sundance, it might be good to wear a mask during then because everybody on the plane is already sick for the most part. I mean, I got so sick once, I had pneumonia where I was coughing up mucus that was like chewing gum. That's how bad it was. I mean, it was that. No, I'm serious. And this was in the early 2000s, and my doctor says I have 80% lung capacity as a result. So, I mean, everybody talks about it, right? I mean, when it comes to conventions, comic conventions, they call it con crud, right? That's what they call it, con crud. So, I don't know. I think moving it, and D says moving it to warmer weather makes sense. I don't know. I just think moving it in general might benefit the filmmakers and actually get us back to consistency. Again, we've all had to come up with new habits. Maybe this is a new habit that would actually be useful. Now, I want to move on.
Move it to Vegas. Move it to Vegas.
All right, move it to Vegas. Okay.